Hello, everybody. Today we are going to talk about how to animate or do basic animations on specific items within a PowerPoint presentation, and also how to insert external data from specific sources. Like in this case, we're going to talk about Excel. So the first thing that we want to do to animate any kind of item, we select a slide that already contains some items. Like in this case, just to mention something real quick, this presentation that I've made on PowerPoint is very similar to the one that we've already created on a previous video. So we're going to take that as a model. Um, as I was saying, to animate something, we need to select it first. For example, I'm selecting the text Sammy, and I'm going to make it appear. Now, the first thing that we need to do is click on animations up here. Okay, now before we go ahead and start animating, there's one important thing that I need to mention. There's four basic different categories of animations. The first one is appearing. The green ones allow things to appear. The yellow ones are the ones that actually make things create an emphatic or signal something out in case you don't want it to appear or disappear. You just want people to pay attention to that. You click on this section. And if you want some item to disappear, you click on exit effects, and that's what helps us do that. The last one is when you create a path, when you have something, some item move in a specific way or in a specific direction or get out of the way of another thing and make something else appear or come from the back. This is the option that you select. Right now, we're going to focus only on the first three. So as I was saying, we select an item, like in this case, Sammy, and we're going to make it appear by clicking the mouse or moving the forward key on your keyboard. So let's select something that is pretty evident or is very clear that it shows up. So let's select here checkerboard. Okay, so now this item of Sammy is going to appear in the shape of a checkerboard. Let's see what happens. So let's do the presentation. Okay, as you can see, the item Sammy is not on screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the mouse or click forward, and it should appear in checker form. There he goes. So now Sammy just appeared on checker form. Okay, very good. So we're going to do that with a second item, just to prove a point. So we're going to select this picture right here. And we're also gonna make it appear. We're going to make it appear as in flying in. And that's going to show number 2, which means that Sammy appears first, then the picture appears number 2, and you can see here on the animations pane on the side, on the right side, that first appears Sammy, then appears the content placeholder number 10, which is this picture right here. Okay, and they appear on that order upon the click of the mouse, as you could see right here with the mouse pointer that shows here on the pane. So let's click on the presentation and let's see. So first Sammy, and then the picture shows up. Okay, very good. So far so good. Now if we want two things to appear, okay, we select them both. We select this one and select this one at the same time. To select them, you select the first one, and then you click, you push on the shift key on your keyboard and click on the second one. And both of them are selected. Or another way that we can choose them is by dragging and choosing the entire items. Okay, all of them put together, and it selects them like that. If we select just a part of it, it's not going to select it. So that's why it's important to choose the whole thing. Okay, or drag throughout the whole thing. So we have both of these. Now, if we select an animation for these two together, it means that they're both going to be animated with the same form at the same time. So let's do fade in, okay, for the both of them. And as you can see, they're both going to appear with the same number, with number 3, which means that this one's going to appear first, then this one's going to appear second. And the third one that's going to appear are these two items together. As you can see, both of them have number 3, which indicates that they're both going to appear third. So let's observe what happens. If we click on the presentation, okay, nothing appears because we haven't clicked. So we click forward, and we see Sammy. We click forward again. We see the second picture. And the third one, both of them should appear at the same time, let's say. And there you go. They both appeared at the same time. Now, if we want to make emphasis on something, like in this picture right here, I want to make emphasis on the text that reads country with the most languages. So I select the item again. As you can see, there's no animations here on this slide, as you can see on the pane. So I click on it and I want to make emphasis on that one in specific. So let's say pulse. Okay, let's click on pulse and let's see what happens. And you're going to see that there's a number 1, which means that it's the first animation on this slide, or in this case the only one. But let's see what happens. We click on it, okay, and then we push forward, and there's a bit of emphasis on that. That's what we wanted on this one in specific. Now the next one, okay, we're going to make something disappear. So we're going to make this text disappear right here. We select the text and we choose an exit effect, and we want it to exit in some fashion, some way that we can see. So let's click on fly out. Okay, it should fly out immediately after we click. Okay, so you can see here on the animation pane, you can see that there's the number 1 here, which means that it's an animation. So we start the presentation and then we click forward, and the text disappears. And then we can go on to the next slide. As you can see, it's the very last one. Okay, and now last but not least, we're going to insert 2 more slides to bring in data from an external source. So we click on a new slide. Okay, and we have this information. We're going to leave this design right here. Okay, and we're going to put some information here. Now, I've already created some information here on an Excel file. This is Spanish speakers in the United States by year. Okay, and how many millions of people were Spanish speakers in 1980, 1990, and so forth and so on, all the way up to 2020. So let's start here and say Spanish speakers in the U.S. Okay, and here, how many people speak Spanish in the U.S. by decade? Okay, so we have that information there. Now, how do I bring this information over? Well, we simply copy it. So we're going to copy the thing right here. Okay, we click on this item, and then we right-click it, and we paste it. We have the information ready. Now, but I don't like the way it looks. I want this information to be a lot clearer. So we have some design ideas. As you can see, this button, if it doesn't appear, you can click on it. And it's going to make a series of very interesting and, in my opinion, very accurate and quite lovely designs. So I like the first one. So let's click on it, and it distributes the information appropriately, so it's a lot easier for us to see. So we're going to leave it like that. Very good. And we're going to add one more slide because I also want something else to come in. Okay, now the other thing I want to create is I want to create a chart for this. So I'm going to insert a chart. Let's choose a recommended one. Okay, I like this one, the very second one. And there it is. It tells us Spanish speakers in the U.S. by millions, and it tells us the year. Very good. We have this slide on PowerPoint. I'm going to choose the very first layout, title, and content. Okay, and then we're going to put chart of speakers in the US by decade. Okay, very good. Okay, now we go on to Excel. Again, we select it, we right-click it, we copy it, we go here to this item in PowerPoint. Okay, we click it, we right-click it, and then we paste it. And the graph is going to appear again. Now, we have also these other options when it comes to the graphs. We click on the one that we like the most. I like this one. Okay, and it appears in a much more beautiful design here on PowerPoint. Now, one important thing that we need to notice is that these slides do not have a transition. Okay, so if we start here, okay, we see that these 2 transitions are there between slides. Okay, but there's no transition over to the next one or the next one. So I want to also create the transition for these slide number 8 and slide number 9. So I select all of them, or I select this one and this one, rather, just these 2. Put transitions, fade through black, as I like to put it. Okay, and now we should have a slide, a transition between the 2. There it is, quite a beautiful transition, another transition, and then it goes off to the last one. And thank you very much, and that pretty much concludes how to create animations within specific items on PowerPoint and how to insert external data.